Hi viewers, we start with CEO James, who is very upset. He says 400,000 VND Vietnamese money is missing from the company. This money was supposed to be used for an important business project, but now it's gone. James trusted someone to handle the money, but something went wrong. Deep, another person in the company, tries to calm James down. She says, "Don't worry, we will find the money." But James is still angry because he feels betrayed. He thought everything was under control, but now there's a big problem. Deep suggests checking the company's records to see where the money went. Maybe someone made a mistake, or maybe it was stolen. James is stressed because this could hurt the business. James and Deep are now trying to figure out what happened to the missing 400,000 VND. James is very stressed because this money was important for the business and he doesn't understand how it disappeared. Deep tells him they need to stay calm and check everything carefully before jumping to conclusions. She starts looking at the company's financial records, going through every transaction to see where the money could have gone. At first, everything seems normal, but then she notices something strange. A few payments don't match the receipts. The numbers are slightly different, and it looks like someone changed them. She shows this to James, and he gets even more upset, because now it seems like someone inside the company might have taken the money on purpose. While Deep is checking the records, James gets a phone call from Mr. Lee, who works in another department. Mr. Lee sounds worried and tells James that he just noticed some payments in his department are also missing. This makes James realize the problem is much bigger than he thought. It's not just one missing amount, but many small amounts over time. He starts to think this wasn't an accident, but a planned theft. Deep agrees and says they need to find out who had access to the money and who could have done this. She remembers seeing Tung, one of the employees, acting strangely near the accounting office a few weeks ago. At the time, she didn't think much of it, but now she wonders if he was involved. James is furious and says if someone in his company is stealing, he will fire them immediately and take legal action. Deep tells him they need to be careful because they don't have proof yet. She suggests checking the security cameras to see if anyone was in the office at odd hours or acting suspiciously. James agrees, but he's still very angry. He feels betrayed because he trusted his team, and now he doesn't know who to believe. Deep tries to keep him focused, reminding him that they need to gather evidence before accusing anyone. She says they should also talk to other employees, quietly, to see if anyone noticed anything unusual. As they keep looking into the records, they find more inconsistencies, small amounts of money moved to accounts they don't recognize, payments that were approved but never went to the right place, and even some fake receipts. Deep writes everything down carefully so they can track where the money went. James starts to realize this theft has been going on for months, and he's shocked that no one noticed it earlier. He blames himself for not paying closer attention, but Deep tells him it's not his fault. Whoever did this knew how to hide it well. The more they investigate, the more it seems like Tung could be the one stealing. He was always around when the money went missing, and he had access to the financial system. But Deep says they still need to be sure. Maybe someone else is framing him, or maybe there's more than one person involved. James doesn't want to wait. He wants to confront Tung right away, but Deep convinces him to wait until they have solid proof. She says if they accuse him too soon, he might hide the evidence or even run away. James agrees, but he's impatient. He just wants the thief caught and the money returned. Meanwhile, they decide to keep the investigation quiet so the thief doesn't get suspicious. They only tell a few trusted people, like Mr. Lee, to help them look for clues. Deep suggests setting up a trap, maybe creating a fake payment to see if the thief tries to take that money too. James likes the idea and says they should do it carefully. They plan to watch closely and see who reacts. The tension is building because they know the thief is still in the company and they don't know who it is. James is losing sleep over this, and Deep is working extra hours to find the truth. As the day ends, they still don't have a clear answer, but they're getting closer. Deep promises James they will solve this, but it might take time. James thanks her for her help, but he's still very worried. He knows if they don't find the thief soon, the company could lose even more money, or worse, go out of business. Deep tells him to stay strong and trust the process. They agree to meet again tomorrow to check the security footage and see if it reveals anything. James leaves the office feeling frustrated, but hopeful. He just wants this nightmare to be over. The story is getting more intense now because the missing money is part of a bigger theft, and the thief could be someone they know. James and Deep are under a lot of pressure, but they're determined to find the truth. The next step is to check the cameras and see if they can catch the thief in action. Will they find the evidence they need? Or will the thief stay one step ahead? The mystery deepens, and the stakes are higher than ever. James and Deep come back to the office early the next morning, both tired but determined to solve the money mystery. The first thing they do is go through the security camera footage from the past few weeks. They sit in James' office, watching hours of video, looking for anything unusual. At first, it's just normal office activity, people working at their desks, meetings, coffee breaks. But then Deep notices something. She points at the screen. Look, there, late last Tuesday night. The timestamp shows 9:47 p.m., long after everyone should have gone home. The camera near the accounting office shows Tung entering alone, looking around nervously before going inside. James' face turns red with anger. I knew it, he says, slamming his fist on the desk. But Deep tells him to wait. Just because Tung was there late doesn't prove he took the money. They keep watching and see Tung at the accounting computer, typing quickly. He keeps glancing at the door like he's afraid someone might walk in. After about 15 minutes, he leaves in a hurry. The next morning's records show another small payment was moved to an unknown account that same night. Deep suggests they set up a secret test. That afternoon, she creates a fake invoice for 50,000 VND and makes sure only a few people, including Tung, can access it. They tell the staff it's payment for an important new client. James wants to confront Tung right away, but Deep explains they need to catch him in the act to have real proof. If we're wrong, she says, we could accuse an innocent person and ruin their life. James agrees, but finds it hard to wait. 2 days pass with nothing happening. James is getting impatient when suddenly, late on the third night, the security guard calls, someone's in the office after hours. James and Deep rush over. Through the camera, they see Tung at the computer again, typing quickly. This time, they watch as he changes the fake payment details, redirecting the money to a different account. James' hands shake with anger as he records everything on his phone. Just as Tung is about to leave, James and Deep walk in. Tung jumps in surprise, his face turning white. Working late again? James asks calmly, though he's furious inside. Tung stammers, saying he forgot some paperwork. Deep points to the computer screen still showing the altered payment. Tung starts sweating. I can explain, he says, but no good explanation comes. James takes a deep breath. He tells Tung they've been watching for weeks, that they know about all the missing money. At first Tung denies it, but when James shows him the video proof, his shoulders slump in defeat. He starts crying, saying he never meant to steal so much. His mother got very sick. The hospital bills were huge, and he saw no other way. I was going to pay it back, he sobs. Deep feels sorry for him, but James is firm. Stealing is stealing, no matter the reason. He calls the police, and as they wait, Tung sits with his head in his hands. The office is silent except for his quiet crying. James looks at Deep. They solve the mystery, but there's no happiness in it. A good employee betrayed their trust, and now his life is ruined. The police arrive and take Tung away. After everyone leaves, James and Deep sit in the empty office. The money will be returned through insurance, but the damage to trust can't be fixed so easily. James wonders aloud how he didn't see the signs earlier. Deep reminds him that good people sometimes do bad things when desperate. They agree to set up better money controls, so this can't happen again. As they turn off the lights to leave, both are lost in thought. The case is closed, but the memory of Tung's tearful face stays with them. The office feels different now, less innocent, more cautious. James realizes being a boss means more than just making money. It means watching out for your team's problems before they become disasters. Deep writes up new security rules as they walk out into the night, the weight of the day's events heavy on both their shoulders. The morning after Tung's arrest feels strange in the office. Everyone moves quietly, glancing at his empty desk. James calls a staff meeting to explain what happened without sharing too many details. His voice sounds tired as he tells the team, "We had a theft in the company, but it's been handled now." You can see the shock on people's faces. Some look angry, others worried. Deep stands beside James, adding that they're putting new rules in place to protect everyone's work. She tries to sound positive, but her smile doesn't reach her eyes. Over the next week, the office atmosphere stays tense. The accounting team now has to work in pairs. No one can access money records alone anymore. James installed new security cameras that watch the computers where financial work happens. Every payment needs 2 people to approve it. These changes make work slower, and some employees complain about the extra steps. One afternoon, my from sales snaps at Deep. "What, don't you trust us now?" Deep takes a deep breath before answering, "It's not about trust. It's about keeping everyone safe from suspicion." Meanwhile, James can't stop thinking about Tung. He visits him in jail, bringing some food from Tung's favorite restaurant. Tung looks thinner, his eyes red from crying. "Why did you come?" he asks, not meeting James' gaze. James isn't sure himself. Maybe he wanted to understand, or maybe he just needed to see that Tung was real. Not just a thief, but a person who made terrible choices. They talk for an hour. Tung explains how his mother's illness drained his savings, how scared he felt watching her suffer. "I know it was wrong," he whispers, "but in that moment, it felt like my only choice." James leaves feeling more confused than ever. Back at work, Deep notices James staring out his office window a lot. When she asks if he's okay, he surprises her by saying, "Could we have helped Tung before it got this bad?" Deep doesn't have an answer. That night, she researches employee assistance programs, ways companies can help workers facing personal crises. The next morning, she shows James her ideas: emergency loans, counseling services, even a simple system where employees can ask for help anonymously. James listens quietly, then says, "We'll start with the loans program immediately." A month passes. The new financial controls become normal routine. The office slowly returns to its usual busy self, though people still glance at Tung's old desk sometimes. One rainy afternoon, James announces a new employee support fund at the weekly meeting. He explains that any staff member facing sudden hardships can apply for confidential help. The room goes very quiet. Then Mr. Lee, who's usually quiet, stands up and says simply, "Thank you." Later that day, Deep sees young interns teaching the older accountants how to use the new approval software together, laughing at their mistakes. James starts sleeping better. He still thinks about Tung, who's awaiting trial, but now he focuses on making sure no one else feels so desperate. Deep has noticed small changes. How James now asks employees about their families, how he approved new health insurance benefits last week. The theft had broken something in their company, but in fixing it, they'd built something new too. One evening as they're leaving work, Deep asks James if he thinks they've done enough. James looks at the office building behind them, its windows glowing in the dusk. "Not yet," he says, "but we're learning." They walk to their cars in comfortable silence, the weight between them lighter than it's been in months. The road ahead still has bumps, but they know now. Problems can break you, or they can show you how to be better. Their company chose the second path. A full year has passed since the day they discovered the missing money. The office looks the same at first glance. Same desks, same coffee machine that always leaks, but everything feels different now. James arrives early, as usual, but instead of going straight to his emails, he stops by the break room where a group of employees are chatting over breakfast. "How's your daughter's soccer team doing?" he asks Nguyen from accounting. She looks surprised but pleased as she tells him about last weekend's game. This is the new normal, a workplace where people know each other's lives. Down the hall, Deep reviews the latest financial reports with satisfaction. The new systems are working perfectly. Not a single discrepancy in 6 months. But what makes her proudest isn't the clean books. It's the Employee Support Fund, ledgers showing 12 instances where they've helped staff through tough times. Medical bills paid, a flooded apartment repaired, even childcare during a single mother's emergency shift. No one has needed to steal. No one has needed to feel that desperate. The morning mail brings unexpected news. Tung's letter is handwritten on prison stationery. He's been granted early release for good behavior and wants to meet. That afternoon, James and Deep sit across from a changed man in a quiet cafe. Tung's hands are rough from prison work, but his eyes are clear. "I've paid my debt to the law," he says quietly, "but I'll always owe you both." He slides an envelope across the table, the first installment of his repayment saved from his prison wages. James starts to refuse, but Deep gently takes it. "We'll add it to the support fund," she says. Tung smiles for the first time in their meeting. Back at the office, they make an announcement at the weekly staff meeting. The Employee Support Fund is being expanded to include job training programs. To everyone's surprise, they reveal Tung will help develop the financial responsibility course. Who better to teach about consequences? James says. The staff erupts in applause, not polite clapping, but genuine warmth. Later, Mai from sales, who once complained about the new rules, pulls Deep aside. "My brother." She hesitates. He's having some trouble. Could the fund maybe help? Deep squeezes her hand and reaches for the confidential application form. As seasons change, so does the company. The strict financial controls remain, but the atmosphere has transformed. People speak up sooner about problems. Managers notice struggles before they become crises. At the annual picnic, James looks around at the laughing teams and realizes something remarkable. Their company survived a theft, but gained something more valuable than any amount of money. They built real trust, the kind that comes not from perfect people, but from a community that lifts each other up during imperfections. That evening, as fireworks light up the sky above the picnic, Deep finds James watching quietly from a bench. "Remember how scared we were that day we found the missing money?" she asks. James nods, smiling. "Funny how something so bad led us here." They clink soda cans in a silent toast, not to the problems they faced, but to the people they became while solving them. The future stretches before them, not as a perfect straight line, but as a road they'll navigate together, one honest conversation at a time. This concludes our journey with James, Deep, and their company. We've seen how a crisis can destroy trust, but also how facing problems with courage and compassion can build something even stronger. Thank you for following along. Would you like any reflections on the story's lessons, or perhaps a different direction for these characters?